way. Your job's a joke, you broke, your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear when it hasn't been your day.
Who wants to watch some TV?
Me. I heard John Oliver last week tonight's pretty good.
Yeah, I like him. I heard he makes some good controversial points.
Here we are again, after another mass shooting with weak legislation doomed to failure. And there is clearly a disconnect between public opinion, which favours to varying degrees a number of different gun control measures, and any practical action in Washington. And it is pretty clear what is standing between those two things. And it's the National Rifle Association. Like Peter, but for guns and effective.
I totally agree with what he's saying. The NRA is preventing gun restrictions from being processed.
That's not true. The NRA supports the Second Amendment and the right to own guns. They're just looking out for people like me, my family, who've grown up with guns.
And the thing is, whenever any potential regulation comes up, the pushback is always the same.
And there's just no evidence that these gun laws would prevent these shootings.
There is at least an absence of certain proof as to the efficacy of gun ownership laws in the past.
To think that somehow gun control is, or increased gun control is the answer, in my view, that would have to be proved.
Ah, yes, it's the old "I'm not doing anything until you can prove it" argument. The same argument favoured by climate change deniers and fathers of the baby on Maury.
Exactly. You shouldn't have to prove that more gun control will decrease gun violence. It's so obvious that the lack of restrictions are closely related to gun violence and that creating more restrictions would lead to less of it.
No, that's not true. There's no evidence to support that the availability of guns is correlated to gun violence. Guns don't kill people, people kill people.
That makes sense.
Remember the Dickey Amendment, which has effectively kept the CDC from studying gun violence? It is now opposed by both the American Medical Association and Jay Dickey, the man who sponsored it in the first place. And yet, whenever a member of Congress tries to kill it, as Nita Lowey did last summer, this is how it goes.
Let's support research to prevent gun violence, protect our communities, and save lives. Thank you.
The question is on the Lowey Amendment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. No. The noes seem to have it. The amendment's not agreed to.
Wow, even the American Medical Association and Dickey himself wouldn't support the ban on CDC to research gun violence. That shows the politicians are skewing the system based on all the donations they are receiving from the NRA.
I agree.
Nah, he came to that decision by himself because more people opposed the bill. If the ban on CDC's research on gun violence was the best decision, then it should have remained.
Obviously, that vote was pretty close and opposed her bill right away without an actual count.
As a pro-gun supporter, I want my rights to bear arms to be protected.
I think that both sides have a fair argument. John Oliver makes a lot of good points about the NRA and how they are affecting gun violence. I understand that there should be more gun control and more restrictions due to the increasing amount of violence from guns. However, I believe that those who want to use guns for hobby, sport, or protection should be allowed their Second Amendment right. Both of you are right in your own way and have fair arguments, but I think that there's not one simple answer for gun control.